October 11th. I apologize. I started and forgot to record. Let's see. Blah blah Heroes hoodie. Bring in $24. I have 4 left over. And we're getting a new book, which is called Shadow Club. When you come back to life, you'll get your copy of Shadow Club. All passes. You should have those now, unless you've been dead. Don't worry about that. Shadow Club. And there we go. When you come back to life, we're going through and using a highlighter, and you can highlight in the book. You can actually write in there, and it's going to connect to our first homework. We have to connect it to your life. And now, I will come back to that. I'm going to be reading out loud to you. And so at home, you just get to listen and pay attention while I read to you. All right. Continuing on from there. We are still in chapter prologue. I still don't know how it all happened. We just lost control. Too many bad feelings have a way of spinning together into one killer tornado. And none of us in the Shadow Club knew how to stop it, or for that matter, where it was going. And I haven't told anyone the whole story yet. I don't like to talk about it because, well, it scares me. I get nightmares. When I was little, I got nightmares about werewolves or dumb things like that. Now, I get nightmares about myself. And since it happened, I've been catching other kids looking at me funny, like I'm a different person now, like I'm that monster I dream about. But it's not true, and I don't know how to prove to them that I'm still me. I'm just a whole lot smarter now, that's all. Like I said, I haven't told anyone, but I can't keep it in anymore. If I do, I'll go crazy. So listen closely. I'll tell you all there is to know about the Shadow Club. But you have to promise you won't hate me when I'm done. I'll begin long before any of the bad stuff happened, before I spied on Tyson McGaw, even before that first meeting, way back when that tornado wasn't even a breeze, just a bunch of thoughts kept secretly in the back of our minds, thoughts we were sure no one else could understand. It all started that day in the graveyard. So I had highlighted at the top of page 4 where it talks about getting nightmares about myself, and I put me because apparently I give kids nightmares. They regularly come in and tell me that I am the cause of them. And then on the first page where it said we were all good kids, really good kids, I highlighted that and again put me because in junior high I was a goody-goody. And then do you guys know what a delinquent is?
Yeah.
So I highlighted delinquent and then put me also because after junior high I made some poor choices. Chapter, stupid talk. They don't have numbers, they just have titles, so chapter 1 is stupid talk. It was the strangest place for anyone to have a wedding. And whoever came up with the idea of having weddings there must have had a very sick mind. This town has to be the only town in the history of the world that has weddings in a cemetery. Anyway, it was the first day of September, and we all stood there in the rose garden at the very edge of Shady Bluff Memorial Park, sipping punch from tiny cups and stuffing our face with little cheese hors d'oeuvres, waiting for the wedding to start. Cheryl's mom was getting married. Cheryl had been nervously chewing the lip of her cup until there was none of it left, and checking to see if her hair was still in place. She had good reason to be nervous, since it was her mother's wedding, and she was about to have a new father, but that wasn't the only reason she was nervous. I just know they're going to ask me to sing, Cheryl mumbled under her breath. Huh? Said Randall, her younger brother. Sing. They're going to ask me to sing? Don't be dumb. People don't sing in cemeteries. Which was a good point. No, I mean later, at the house. During the party, they always ask me to sing. Randall rolled his eyeballs so far back you could almost hear them turning in his head. Like when? That was the part I highlighted and put my daughter's name next to it. Cheryl thought for a moment, then a smirk spread over her face.
Wait, where was the...
Like at your birthday party? She said triumphantly. She looked at me, but I knew better than to stick my nose in this one. My nose has been whacked too many times for being where it never should have been in the first place. This was their argument. Yeah, well, guess what? I got news for you. Nobody asked you. You just got up there and sang anyway, all on your lonesome. That is not true. Somebody asked me. Who? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. The point is, I was asked, and as I recall, everyone clapped. They clapped because I blew out the candles. Okay, well, yeah, that too. But they liked the way I led Happy Birthday. I kept them all in tune. You were louder than everyone else, you mean. And you didn't have to stand on a chair. That was embarrassing. I highlighted the you were louder than everyone else, and there's a student in one of my earlier classes. I wrote her name.
I think I have your
And
book.
the part where it says you didn't have to stand on a chair, that was embarrassing because I made you guys stand on chairs for that first project. We had to like interview each other. So I figured that part.
We had like this.
How many highlights do we have to have? Like the maximum?
Someone has to lead, demanded
Not doing
Cheryl.
10.
It's like the national anthem at a ball game. Someone has to lead it, or everyone sings at the wrong time, out of tune, and it sounds lousy. It was about this time that I forced my ears closed and tuned the two of them out. True, Cheryl and Randall were my friends, but there's only so much stupid talk a human brain can listen to. When Cheryl and Randall got started, they could stupid talk each other till their mouths wore out. I turned off my brain whenever my parents did it. I turned off my brain whenever my friends did it. I highlighted turning off my brain and put teenagers in my class.
I have your book.
Thanks. I was closer friends with Cheryl than I was with Randall. In fact, you could say that Cheryl was my best friend. She'd been my best friend all my life, or, well, as far back as I can remember. I mean, back to the days when it was all right for little boys to play with little girls because we didn't really know the difference. And through the time when everyone would make fun of us because boys were supposed to do boys things with boys and girls were supposed to do girls things with girls. Now, no one much bothered us because at 14, everyone just has more sense. Besides, people envied us because everyone was so sure we were a lot more than we really were, if you know what I mean. Other kids always think that kind of thing if you're friends with a girl. So what is he implying? What is it that people think?
They're dating.
That they're dating. But it turns out that they're just a boy and a girl who are friends. They're not actually dating. Anyway, neither Cheryl nor Randall knew when to shut up or when to give up, since they were always so convinced that they were right. They argued like lawyers, which is something they both got from their mother, who is a lawyer. This time, however, I knew for a fact Randall was right. No one had asked Cheryl to sing at that party. The only person that was asked to sing was Cheryl's cousin Rebecca. And luckily, Cheryl was out back when it happened, or else she would have been in an evil mood for the rest of the day. Cheryl hated Rebecca about as much as I hated Austin Pace. But I'll leave that for later. You just watch. Mom's going to come over to me and ask me to sing when she and Paul have their first dance. I'll bet you. You are on, said Randall. I bet you money, but I wouldn't want to make you feel too bad. Fine. It's settled then, I said, just to shut them up. The winner gets no money, but will get to hang their victory over the other person's head for the rest of their life. All right? Fine. Good. Now, both of you shut up. Looks like they're going to start. They're getting ready to mention a gazebo. Do you guys know what a gazebo is?
Yeah.
Is it like
weird,
a
it's a
gazebo?
weird house thing.
Yeah, it's like
It's like a weird house thing.
It's like a church
like
thing.
an outside.
Yeah. So they have them, I used to live in Woodbury, and Woodbury used to have a bunch of them in the neighborhood. But yeah, it's just like this outdoor little
But
house
I
thing.
kind of like that because it's like, I've been
Sure.
went to one.
What?
In a few minutes, Randall and Cheryl left to join the bridal party, which would come down the aisle along with the bride. My parents found me, and we went to sit in the rows of chairs by the little vine-covered gazebo in which the wedding would take place. The air was still warm that day, as if it had forgotten autumn was coming pretty soon. But the trees remembered. You could tell that they were just about ready to start turning colors. It was a nice day for a wedding. Cheryl came down the aisle with the rest of the bridesmaids, and I knew she hated all that makeup and hairspray, but I have to admit, I'd never seen her look so beautiful. Even more beautiful than her mother did in her wedding dress. Of course, I couldn't tell Cheryl that. She tended to punch people who told her she looked beautiful.
Boy or girl?
Boy talking.
Oh.
As the ceremony went on, I saw Cheryl's cousin Rebecca on the other side of the aisle. She sat there like a little princess, all 4 feet of her, pretending to be the cutest thing on earth, like she was taking Shirley Temple lessons or something. Even just sitting, you could sense that air about her, like she was the one in Cheryl's family that everyone adored, and she knew it. And I could see why Cheryl resented her. Who wouldn't? All that pretend sweetness all rolled up into one tiny body. What made it even more irksome for Cheryl was that next week, Rebecca would make her grand entrance into our junior high and would, as always, set out to top anything Cheryl had ever done. Shirley Temple. Have you guys had the Shirley Temple drink?
I love it. What is that?
So,
good.
bottom of page 9. So the Shirley Temple drink is basically just Sprite with cherry juice that's squirted into it. But it comes from an actual person. Shirley Temple was a person. Way back when they first started doing movies, she was the very first child star who got to become popular. And she was this little red-haired girl who would dance around and sing in movies and stuff like that. And so the Rebecca girl in the story is basically trying to imitate her. Apparently back in 2019, TikTok actually had one of her sounds from the 1930s was trending, which is...
What is it?
I'm going to be playing for you for a second. So you get a chance to hear her doing her little singing. We're going to take a look at the video for, what is it? Oh, Animal Crackers in My Soup. Home children, I have to pause it because YouTube won't let me play this otherwise. Back to here. Well, the wedding went fine, and so did the first half of the party back in Cheryl's backyard. It was when the band started its second set that things started to change. It seemed that Cheryl was having such a great time, dancing and jabbering at anyone who had an ear, that she forgot all about her little bet with Randall back in the old graveyard rose garden. It could have gone forgotten, and no one, not even Randall, would have cared. But something happened. Cheryl and I were dancing quite a lot, since we both liked to dance, and we were tiring ourselves out when the lead singer ended the song and began talking. "How we doing out there?" A few people mumbled, "Good, good." "Great! Now we have a very special request. I understand that there's a young lady here who is quite a singer." "Knew it," said Cheryl, and she cleared her throat half a dozen times. "And we have a very special request from the bride for her to come up here and give us a song."
Chargers at the one announcement.
Element.
Continue.
Continue.
Cracked her knuckles. "Sing a song." Cheryl cracked her knuckles, which made me wince, and cleared her throat again. Randall, from across the yard, caught her gaze, amazed that his sister was actually going to win. "So maybe if we give her a great big hand, she'll come on up and sing for us." Cheryl bit her lip and leaned forward, sure that the eyes of the whole world were looking at her. The singer put on a big smile. "Let's hear it for Rebecca!" Cheryl took one step forward, and then it hit her. You could almost hear her jaw drop open. I'm going to finish this one. The bell's going to ring. We're going to finish the paragraph. People began to applaud. Randall began to laugh. Then he turned to Cheryl, scratched his head, and gave her his best monkey impersonation. Cheryl ignored him and turned to me. For a split second, she had that look in her eye that you only see in movies about people possessed by the devil. But the look faded. She sighed and said, "Well, that just figures, doesn't it?" And I said, "Yes," because I highlighted the part that says people looking like they're possessed by the devil, and I wrote me.
Amazing.
It's from green.
I have a rant that